Hi, and welcome to Insights to Impossible. This is Anders Hansen. Today we're going to talk about the greatest force of the universe, the greatest force the world has ever known, and how you can use that force to create exactly the impossible goals you truly desire. But before we dive into today's lesson, do me a favor and like the video below, and do yourself a favor and subscribe to my channel so that you stay updated to all the great information that is coming your way in the near future. Alright, let's get going. Napoleon Hill said something beautiful about what we're going to be talking about today. He said, "Your imagination, the human imagination, is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known." But before we get there, hold on, stay with me, don't dismiss this just yet. The imagination is a mental faculty you and I are born with. It's a mental faculty that we can develop. As we develop it, we become better at finding solutions to challenges that we may have, and that is where everything begins. Think about it. Everything in this world that we get to enjoy today was once just a thought in someone's imagination. And you have a lot of folks claiming not to be creative, but everyone is. The question is, are you expressing that creativity with your mental faculty called imagination, or are you not expressing it? There's a reason why it is much harder to perform magic for children than adults. A lot harder. Ask any of my peers in the field, and in the field I used to be in, magic, and they'll tell you how hard it is to perform magic for kids. Why? Kids are just as much in their imagination as they are in the information coming through their senses. So their brain waves are actually a lot lower. They are at oftentimes an alpha level, where adults are in gamma. They are in constant reaction mode to everything that they experience through their senses. Children are in a lower brainwave state, and they're more in touch with their mental faculties, one of them being imagination. And so they constantly think up creative ways as to how the trick was done. That is why it is much harder to perform magic for children than adults. But we're programmed to live from the outside in. We're programmed to live through those senses, and that is our biggest challenge as we become adults, as we grow up. Now, what we do is look at present results in our life. We let that register on the screen of our mind. That becomes our feeling state, which then becomes our actions, and that keeps producing more of the same. Like this graph illustrates, this is a person that is actually stuck. They let present circumstances define their thinking, which becomes the way they feel about themselves, which becomes the way they act, which is repeating the same old pattern. We want to go the other way. We want to get in touch with our imagination, start building an image of what we really want. Because you and I think in images, we think in pictures, we don't think in words. And your subconscious mind, which is the treasure trove of impossible goals, of the engine or the part of your mind that is going to help you execute on that goal, that part of your mind understands images, feelings, sounds. That's it. So we want to talk the language of your subconscious mind to really get that image impressed. So we're going to have a clear image that you develop with your imagination. We're going to go as far as we possibly can. When I met Bob Proctor the first time, he asked me, "Anders, how do you create an illusion?" I thought that was such a great question. And I told him, "Bob, I go as far as I can in my mind. I build an image of what I currently perceive to be impossible, and then I work my way backwards until that goal has been achieved." He goes, "That's exactly what I've been teaching millions of people to do all over the world for close to 60 years. That is the only way to go." But your biggest challenge right now is that you probably look at the current checking account status or whatever other status, but that's just an example. Most people struggle with money. They look at the present account balance. They let that register on the screen of their mind. That causes them to feel a certain way about themselves. That causes them to go out and look for bargains. And hence they repeat the pattern. We should go the other way. Instead of solely depend on input coming from the senses, we should stop up, close our eyes, build a beautiful image of what we truly desire. Because as you keep impressing that image on your subconscious mind over and over and over through repetition, your perception changes, which is another mental faculty. We don't have time to dive into that today, but your perception will change What you feel you're worth will start to change, and that's going to cause you to see opportunities where you before saw lack and limitation. This is a very powerful concept, but it starts with the greatest force in the world, your imagination. So we really want to get this. We want to get that you and I have been programmed from birth to live from the outside in, letting the present circumstances define us. That is why such a huge part of the population gets nowhere. They're stuck in jobs they really don't like, and they keep holding on to that. And why do they do that? They're so addicted to present circumstances. They're so addicted to not losing more, which is how our mind is programmed. We're programmed always to measure what we can lose, not what we can win. So people literally compromise their entire lives in situations and circumstances that they don't necessarily enjoy. And all they could do instead is go the other way. Close the input that's coming through the senses. Close it out. Block it out. Start building an image of what you really want. As you get emotionally involved in that image, and that's the key, your perception changes, your reality changes, and your results will change. That is the magic of your imagination. I truly hope this serves you. Do me a fantastic favor, like the video below, subscribe to my channel, and please remember, it is not who we are that holds us back. It is not. What's likely to be holding most people back are all the illusions, all the false concepts of who they think they're not. Now go live the impossible. See you next week.